Hi, and welcome to Bio 308 Contemporary Biology for the fall of 2024. My name is Sherry Graves, and I'll be your instructor for this class. I've taught this online version of the class a number of times for many semesters, and I hope I've worked out a system that works really well, at least that's very consistent so that you know what to expect. But I'm always open to new ideas. So if there's some topic you really want to cover that you don't see in the syllabus, just ask. This class is called Contemporary Biology. And the reason for that name is that although basically it's a general biology course, meaning that it covers a lot of topics within biology, the decision was made to focus on contemporary research findings, contemporary ideas, contemporary applications, things that are going on right now that pertain to the basic topics that we're discussing within biology. Now, this is a non-majors course. What that means is that most of the people taking this class are not planning to major in biology. Most of them are not planning to major in science at all. So we have people in the class from a variety of different majors. Most people are taking this as a general education class. So it covers the breadth of study and includes the science component for that. And so when I go into teaching this class, I make the assumption that a lot of this material will be new to at least some of the individuals in the class. And so I try to start at the base and then work up to the more complex aspects of the topics that we're covering. Now, whenever you do that, there's a danger that you can oversimplify something. And by oversimplifying it, you do two negative things. One, you give people false impressions or misconceptions sometimes. And two, you don't give them a real sense of the true complexity of life that's out there. And so although I will try to keep things fairly simple, I will also try to make it clear to you how complex a lot of these processes are without making you memorize the details of those ideas. So as I said, it's a general biology course. You could also call this a survey course. And what that means is that instead of taking one very specific concept in biology and studying that very detailed field for the entire semester, we're going to take a very broad view of biology and touch on lots of different topics throughout the semester. So each week, each module that you have will be a new topic. Now, there are interconnections between topics, so understanding one will certainly benefit you in understanding others, but we're going to cover a large variety of topics within the class. To help you understand this material, I've put together lecture videos kind of similar to this one, except those will show a PowerPoint slide presentation with my picture up in a corner explaining things. So I've built those and put those together for you. And most of your lecture material will come from that. Most of what I expect you to know will come from that. Sometimes I've created something a little differently. For example, in the first module, I want you to understand a little about graphing, and so I used the quiz feature of Canvas not to test you, but instead to teach something. And so there I felt it was useful to introduce something and have you practice it immediately, which is why I set it up that way. Other times I will bring in outside videos or outside material that I think is really useful to helping you understand what we're talking about. That's especially true when we talk about some of the biological technology aspects. Now, you do have a textbook associated with this course. I encourage you to get that. If you can buy a used copy, that's great. If you don't have the textbook right away for the first module, even for the second one, you'll be fine. You can learn everything you need to just from the lecture videos, so don't worry about that. Later on in the course, I will assign some readings for things that I won't talk about in the lecture videos, but for the beginning, the only thing I'll expect you to know from the textbook is something I also cover, even though slightly differently, in those lecture videos. So I I think that it's useful to have this textbook. The textbook allows you to approach the material from a slightly different viewpoint. And sometimes that can really help to see two different introductions to a topic. It also has a lot of good imagery, a lot of good diagrams, a lot of good graphs, and those are useful, especially for people who find it useful to see things visually when they're trying to learn. Now, I know this is an online asynchronous class, and for anybody who hasn't had one before, what that means is that in being asynchronous without synchrony, without being at the same time, what that means is that we don't have any scheduled meeting times where the whole class comes together, either in person or on Zoom. So instead, the material is made available to you for this class on a week-by-week basis. And then you are expected on your own time to go in, allow sufficient time to cover all of this, but working with your own schedule, work through it, and both take in the material and think about the material that is covered, but also do a couple of assignments every week to help you better understand that material. In trying to learn something, working with it actively is very important and helps you to understand it. So the typical pattern for a week will be to have a single module. This first week's a little different in that there's a first intro module and then the main content module, but typically there'll be one module a week, except for this first week. And in that module, again, you'll have lecture videos. You'll have a little introduction that just kind of tells you what's coming up. You'll have information on what the reading would be. And then you will also have a discussion assignment. There's a discussion feature within Canvas that you can use, and you will have one main post and then one reply post to one of your classmates as part of that. Each week you'll also have a homework assignment. Those will vary a lot during the semester, but you'll have one homework assignment each week. And then each week you'll also have a quiz. And although this quiz is graded and will contribute to your grade, it's set up more to be a part of the learning process, so that the quiz is designed by me to be self-graded. So all the questions are either matching or true false or multiple choice, so that the computer software can grade them immediately and give you immediate feedback. And then you can take that quiz again as many times as you want up until the due date. So the goal is to use the quiz to help you learn the material, to help you see where you're not understanding and go back and rectify that, and to improve your understanding as you finish out that module that week. The quizzes are worth 10 points each. The homework assignment is worth 25 points each, and then the discussion assignment is worth 10 points each. All of that information is also in the syllabus. So each week, except for exam weeks, you'll have basically the same setup, the same set of things to do. So hopefully you can fairly quickly get into a routine. All of those assignments will be due on Sunday night by 11:59 p.m. So one due date for everything. You don't have to remember multiple due dates. And again, it will take a little time perhaps, but you will soon be able to kind of get a strategy that works for you in terms of what times you can allocate to the class in order to get all of that work done and understand the material. Now, sometimes people worry in this online asynchronous class that instead of interacting with a person, with me in this case, you are just interacting with a computer. And I want to make it clear that you are strongly encouraged to reach out to me and either go back and forth by email and discuss some of this, or we can set up Zoom meetings to go through material if you don't want. I'll give you feedback on your assignments. For the homework assignments that ask you to write something up, you can submit a version of those by email to me ahead of time, and I'll look it over and give you feedback before you officially submit it on Canvas. So there are lots of ways that you can interact with me as a professor. You shouldn't feel like you're doing this on your own. If something is ever taking much, much longer than it seems it should, reach out to me and we'll figure out what's slowing you down. But I want this, even though it's asynchronous online, to feel like an interactive class. So don't hesitate to email me and say, I'd like to have a Zoom meeting so we could go over this. I'm always happy to do that. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I want your input. I want to hear what you're thinking. I'm interested in your ideas. I hope that you will enjoy learning about this material. I find biology really fascinating, all the way from the chemical and cellular levels up to the larger whole animal levels. I've spent most of my time when I've done research working on either mice or butterflies or birds, and if you're interested in any of that, I'm happy to talk to you about that in addition. So I'm going to leave you with this. Welcome to the class. I'm excited to work with you. One of the key things in this class is that because it is asynchronous online, it relies a lot on you being organized and staying on top of things. Students who do well tend to kind of approach the material early in the week and make sure they get it done, not wait until the last day, the last couple of hours, and try to whip it all out at the last minute. So look at your schedule and block out some specific times when you can work on this class. Ideally, put those on your schedule. Set that time aside, and you're more likely to then allocate that time for the class. You know your schedule. You know what time of day you work best, etc. So use that information to plan out a way of you approaching this material. And if you find that you're confused by anything, again, reach out as soon as you can in the semester to try to get answers to that. See you all soon. Hopefully I'll get to read a lot about your ideas on this material and talk to a number of you at some point during the semester. Thanks.